Again, the reentry at any moment. We will not be hearing from the astronauts on integrity.
10 seconds till entry interface.
For days, the world watched, waited, and held its breath. 4 humans, suspended between Earth and the unknown, were finally coming home.
And we have crossed the threshold, now entering the Earth's atmosphere. We're at 400,000 feet, traveling 34,800 feet per second.
High above the planet, traveling at over 24,000 miles per hour, the crew of Artemis II began their final descent toward Earth.
13 minutes, 10 seconds.
This is incredible to witness, and Susan, I gather that's some of the heat right there.
Yes, that's the plasma.
The plasma and the heat surrounding this capsule.
And as predicted, we've entered our communications blackout.
Is what leads to the blackout.
This will be a 6-minute blackout period. No voice, no data from the crew.
No voice, no data from the crew, as we're hearing from NASA right now. Dr. Hakeem Oluseyi, an astrophysicist, science educator, has been with us for our coverage these last 10 days. And Hakeem, you've been great throughout. This is one of the most anxious times of the entire journey.
This is the true test of our trajectory.
Absolutely it is. I am sitting on the edge of my seat just like the rest of you, waiting to see these parachutes deploy and a safe splashdown.
Aircraft in the vicinity of the splashdown.
Let's listen back into NASA, and again, they'll let us know in about 5 minutes now if they have regained communication with those 4 astronauts.
As it enters the period of peak heating in the Earth's atmosphere, the first tug of gravity being felt by Integrity's astronauts since their launch back on April 1st.
And of course, we are thinking of the families of pilot Victor Glover, mission pilot, Reed Weissman, the commander.
4.5 minutes until the end of the blackout period.
Christina Cook, 4.5 minutes to go until we hear from them again.
Time
Jeremy
to
Hansen.
Splashdown, 11 minutes, 33 seconds.
Of course, the Canadian astronaut. Everyone on board making history in their own way. The first Canadian to join them in a mission to the moon. This is the first time in many decades since the Apollo missions that we have sent humans back to the moon, and they made their own history, traveling farther than any astronauts who went before them, going to the far side of the moon and seeing with human eyes parts of the moon that have never been seen before, and sending back messages of hope and those extraordinary images. They have talked during their press conferences
the landing and support officer reports that the P-3 has acquisition on integrity.
About the importance of coming home. It was Victor Glover himself who said,
3.5 minutes left in this blackout period.
There you see it.
This is a visualization.
Oh, visualization. So this is similar to the simulations we showed you earlier, only this one is from NASA. Let's listen.
Repelling of that heat on Integrity's heat shield.
I was saying Victor Glover, the mission pilot, was asked, what is he most looking forward to? And he said, splashdown. And who could argue with that? He also talked about this being like riding a fireball through the atmosphere, this incredible moment. And this visualization from NASA helps to explain this, why there would be a blackout during this period of time. The families of all of these astronauts.
Flight Dynamics reports that airborne assets in the vicinity of the splashdown zone do have a visual on Integrity. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds left in our blackout period.
Inside the Orion spacecraft, silence wasn't empty, it was heavy.
9 minutes until splashdown. Let's keep this visualization, but if we could add, Dave, our director in the control room, Trevor Roll, who is at a watch party at the San Diego Air and Space Museum.
Every system, every calculation, every heartbeat mattered now, because this was the most dangerous part of the mission.
Absolutely, David, and what we are seeing is basically every single checkpoint that's being hit is being met met with thunderous applause. You can hear a smattering right now. That's been happening continuously, 30 seconds after 30 seconds after 30 seconds after. And what we've been seeing are generations of families experiencing something that many of these people have never experienced before. I talked with one man here, an 86-year-old grandfather. He said he remembers watching the very first space launches. He remembers the Apollo flights. He remembers those first lunar missions. It inspired him to become a pilot and an engineer. Now, after 45 years of his own flight, he's retired. He is back here tonight with his grandchildren watching Artemis. And then at the same time, we're hearing from young people. There's two people behind me here, Lena, Olivia. These are students at UC San Diego who told me that they can't believe, when they learned about Artemis, they said, I can't believe it's happening in real life and not in the movies. That's how long it has been. What we've been hearing from family after family is that this is something that feels like a previous America would accomplish. Now, of course, we're in that tight window. Will it land safely? And of course, we know everyone's waiting on bated breath, but they are optimistic, David.
No question about that. A lot of optimism and a lot of prayers across this country tonight as we watch and wait for Artemis II to emerge in communication.
Standing by for communications from the crew. We should be out of the blackout period less than a minute from now.
All right, let's listen. Less than a minute here to see if we can regain communications with the 4 astronauts on board: Victor Glover, Reed Weissman, Christina Cook, and Jeremy Hansen.
There are no second chances during reentry. Reentry interface confirmed, all systems nominal. One astronaut said, their voice calm but focused. Copy that, let's bring her home, another replied.
No communications yet with the astronauts, but they are receiving transmission from Integrity.
Now, this is great news.
Landing and support officer reports the small boats are en route to the splashdown target zone.
Outside the capsule,
The vessels carrying the divers.
Earth's atmosphere weighted like an invisible barrier.
Splashdown zone. And Susan, tell us what we're looking at right here.
It's the visual. It's the camera view of the reentry.
A wall that would either guide them safely back or destroy everything in seconds. Then it began.
Well, they mentioned 6 minutes. We knew they would be 6 excruciating minutes, particularly.
Passing through 150,000 feet, our trajectory is perfect.
As Orion slammed into the atmosphere, friction ignited the air around it. Temperatures surged to nearly 5,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Flames wrapped around the capsule, turning it into a blazing comet streaking across the sky. The heat shield, engineered to withstand the impossible, glowed under the pressure. Inside, the spacecraft shook violently. Every bolt, every panel, every inch of the structure was pushed to its limits. Heat levels rising, holding steady. One astronaut reported, gripping tightly as the cabin trembled. Guidance is stable, we're still on trajectory. Another confirmed. And then, silence. Back on Earth, at NASA Mission Control, every screen suddenly went still. No signal. No telemetry. No voices.
Well, it's not often when you sit here at the anchor desk when you feel chills. This is certainly one of them. History being made tonight, Artemis II, the first
Passing
mission
100,000 feet now.
in many decades, taking humans back to the moon. In fact, they went farther than
Range to splashdown 19 nautical miles.
19 nautical miles until splashdown. We were expecting it at about 8:06 or so Eastern time, 8:07 perhaps. So just about 5 minutes from now. They mentioned those divers are already en route. They clearly know where, certainly the
Integrity, impact to the camera controller fail is no Cab 1 views of the chutes.
we were expecting, hoping that we might get a view of some of these parachutes, though we're not entirely sure we
We're
will.
processing good data through the GPS system. A good view of Integrity. Time to splashdown 4.5 minutes.
4.5 minutes to splashdown. There's an elaborate sequence of parachutes here. The first deployed at around...
And a view of Integrity from the WB-57.
There you go.
Yeah.
We're at 50,000 feet.
At around 22,000 feet, You'll see the first parachutes here, part of this sequence of chutes. I saw some movement right there. Was that a... There it is. You can see a flash of something. Not entirely
Not
sure
yet.
it's
The
one of the
pyros
chutes
are
yet.
armed for forward bay cover jettison.
A flicker of something just above.
Here, you're going to see the jettison and then the drogue chutes.
And they deploy at about 22,000 feet, right, Susan?
And they're the first ones to come out.
Yeah.
There they are.
There they are.
There they are right there.
And then
And there go the
go
first series of
other ones right
parachutes.
away.
And we're on drogues.
And Houston, we're visual 2 drogues out the window.
Yep. The drogue.
Those parachutes right there will slow the spacecraft to about
Two good
200
drogue
miles an
chutes.
hour.
Next up,
We copy. We see them.
the deployment of pilot parachutes that will pull the main chutes out. Time to splash down 3 minutes and 10 seconds.
Wow, it's just incredible to think 4 human beings inside that capsule, right? Who have just seen the far side of the moon and come back to tell us about it. And what a bond we've witnessed from them. The hug,
Perfect descent rate according to flight
Integrity,
dynamics.
Good rates on 2 drogues.
the symbol of the heart in their
We keep the
photographs
same on board.
that they sent back. And they named one of the craters in the moon that they discovered themselves after Reed Weissman's late wife, Carol. She died in 2020 of cancer. They'd been together for decades. And one of his fellow astronauts
Passing through 10,000 feet,
spoke of the moment.
still on drogues.
Because Reed couldn't say it himself, though he was moved, certainly, that the astronauts decided, let's name it after your late wife, Carol. So many stories they'll share with us. There's the second set
There we
right
go.
there.
Main chute deploy. We're at 5,000 feet.
The crew we
Search and
met with,
recovery beacon has been activated on integrity.
the search and recovery beacon activated for those Navy divers who are
And we
now
have
racing
3
to the
good main
site.
chutes.
Out the window.
Good 3 main chutes, good reefing, good descent rate.
Good rates, and we see 3 good-looking parachutes.
This is picture perfect.
Integrity. Cabin pressure indicates no need for hydrazine checks.
Integrity copies.
This was the blackout phase, the most nerve-wracking moment of
This is a
reentry.
perfect descent
Plasma
for
built up
integrity.
around the capsule,
Gets crew
blocking
sounding
all
Hale
communication.
and Hardy on board.
For a few long minutes, the crew was completely
Glad to hear
alone.
it.
Time to splash down 1
Stay
minute,
with it,
15
the
seconds.
flight
1
director
minute,
whispered,
15
eyes
seconds
locked on the
until
data.
splashdown in the Pacific
Time
Ocean off
stretched.
San Diego.
Seconds felt like hours.
The
No one
USS
moved.
John
No
Murphy
one
is in the
spoke.
region. Navy
Because
divers
in
will
moments
race to
like
the
this,
craft.
all you can do is
They will
trust.
deploy that inflatable
Trust the
around
engineers.
capsule.
Integrity about to complete
Trust
a
the
journey
science.
spanning
Trust the mission.
694,481 miles
A crackle,
from its launch
a beep,
from the Kennedy Space Center
static
back on
followed
April
by a
1st,
voice.
and a trip around the
Orion,
moon.
this is Houston. We have reacquired signal.
I mean, these
A
are words
wave
you
of
have not
relief
heard in
swept
decades
across
in
the
this
room.
country. There are a lot
Houston,
of viewers
Orion
watching
here.
tonight who
Good to
remember
hear your
this from the
voice,
Apollo
came the
mission.
reply.
That several
They
of
made
them,
it through.
those
But the
missions,
journey
but of
wasn't over
course,
yet.
A whole younger generation
Now came the
witnessing
final
something that
test.
they've only read about in the history
At
books.
25,000 feet above the Pacific Ocean, 2 small drogue parachutes deployed, stabilizing the capsule as it continued its rapid descent. Moments later, at around 10,000 feet, 3 massive main parachutes burst open in the
Little flash
sky.
there at the capsule.
Giant orange and
Passing
white
through
canopies
1,000
catching
feet.
the air and slowing the spacecraft from hundreds of miles per hour to a gentle fall. From the ground, it looked almost peaceful. But inside, every second still mattered. The ocean below stretched endlessly as the capsule drifted toward its landing point, just off the coast of San Diego. Calm, deep, and waiting. And then, splashdown. The capsule hit the water with a powerful surge, sending waves
Those 3
rippling
parachutes,
outward.
of course,
After
leading to that
everything,
sequence,
the fire, the
certainly
silence,
ones
the
that are doing
tension,
most
this
of
was
work
the
in
moment that
trying to slow
mattered
this
most.
capsule,
They were
slow
home,
integrity down to about
floating in the
20
Pacific.
miles per hour.
The
There's
Orion
splashdown.
capsule bobbed gently on the surface,
Splashdown
a small but
confirmed.
powerful
Copy
symbol of
splashdown,
human
waiting on
achievement.
VLDR.
Within
Splashdown
minutes,
confirmed at
recovery teams
7:07
rushed into
PM
action.
Central Time, 5:07
Ships moved
PM
into
Pacific
position.
Time.
Helicopters hovered
Which, by the way,
overhead.
is exactly
Divers
what
entered the
would
water,
happen
swimming
7
toward the
minutes past
capsule with
hour.
precision and urgency.
Nearby,
Nearby, the massive USS Portland stood ready as part of the recovery operation. Visual on Orion, crew is
In the
stable,
Pacific,
a diver
the divers will
reported.
get there. They will look
Carefully,
at the outside of
methodically, the
integrity
team secured the
to make
capsule.
sure
Every movement was calculated, every step rehearsed.
stable.
Because
There you
even
go.
now, the mission wasn't over. Back inside, the astronauts waited as the hatch was prepared to open. After days in microgravity, even standing would feel unfamiliar. But none of that mattered now. They had made it. Finally, the hatch opened. Fresh air rushed in. Sunlight touched their
We
faces.
can breathe.
One by one,
Can.
the
We just wanna see
astronauts
them now,
emerged,
right? And they will
smiling,
get to the
exhausted but
craft, the
victorious.
divers, and as I was mentioning earlier,
Not just survivors
I just
of a
don't like
mission,
to talk over NASA because they're
but
so
pioneers of a new
fascinating. I'm
era.
having fun listening in on them
Across
as
the
well.
world,
But they
millions
will check
watched
the
this moment
exterior of the
unfold.
capsule to make sure that
From
there isn't
living
any
rooms to
significant damage,
classrooms,
to make sure
from
it's safe to
cities to
open
remote villages,
the latch.
people saw what humanity is capable of when it dares to push beyond its limits. Because Artemis II is more than just a mission. It's a promise.
Well, now
A
they're just
promise
showing
that
off.
we are not done exploring.
To tell us it's
A
exactly
promise
when
that the
we said
moon
it
is
would
just the
happen.
beginning. A promise that Mars and beyond is within reach. As the sun began to set over the ocean, the capsule was lifted from
There'll
the
be an
water,
initial check.
secured after its incredible journey. The waves
They
calmed,
will initially
the
check to make
noise
sure that all of the
faded,
astronauts are feeling okay.
and for a moment, everything was
and then
still.
they're going to take
From fire to silence,
in the
to the
Pacific,
sound of the ocean.
southwest of
This
San Diego
is what coming home looks
at
like.
7:07 and
This is
47
what courage
seconds
feels
PM.
like.
Integrity
This is
Houston,
Splashdown.
com check on VLDR.
And this is only the beginning.